look at this. Jew-hating Emmys hit 4-year viewership high, which means ratings still suck. According to Nolte, the Jew-hating Emmys, and it appears that Jewish people are really complaining about this. In fact, I still have the article. I've got to break it out. I got to show you all. I still have the article. Where is it? Is it here? Is it there? I think it's there. All right. God, you got to love this. It's time for Hollywood to stop erasing the Jews. Allison here wrote this one. And what is the problem in this for Allison? Does she talk about in this article? What's the problem? The problem is that Ashkenazi Jews, many Ashkenazi Jews, are perceived as white. This is her conclusion. And then as a consequence of being perceived as white, they're not getting roles. So this is wrong because it's harming Jews. It's not wrong because it's being discriminatory against an entire race of people, the white race. No, it's wrong because it's harming Jews. It's okay if you're going to discriminate against them. But now there's a problem. You're erasing us Jews then. Now that's a problem. I wish the white race, and not just wish, of course, because that's to curse what you do. But I work toward the white race having such a lens and focus on ourselves that we too can rise up in righteous anger as a people over not getting enough acting awards. I shit you not. The anti-Semitic, Jew-hating Emmys hit their highest viewership numbers in 4 years, which means the ratings still suck, writes Nolte. White people can be butchered. White people can be massacred. White children can be gang raped for decades. And the white race doesn't come together because they don't have a people. Because they don't use the concepts that put the lens on ourselves. They're focused on everybody else. Selfish individualists. But Jews can come together as a people in righteous indignation because they're not getting enough awards in acting, in movie production, in makeup, etc. They can write articles, and they do, decrying the Jewish erasure, which is not even remotely close to what's actually happening and has been happening for generations and generations of white people in every walk of our life. But Jewish people can come together and decry the erasure because their absolute dominance in movie creation, in acting, in the music in the movies, in the makeup in the movies, in the on and on, is being diminished by anti-whiteism. By anti-whiteism, not anti-Semitism or anti-Jew sentiment. It's being diminished as a consequence of anti-whiteism. The Jews are being collaterally damaged by looking like us, some of them. They are being collaterally damaged. And so they are able to come together as a unified force. Well, not every single Jew, of course. It's a percentage of the overall Jewish population do this beautiful thing of working together and coming together for individual well-being by way of group well-being. That is exactly what we must emulate. And that is what this community has and continues to concretize in the white population. We can come together with a focus on ourselves and our well-being as we argue here, in a way that benefits everyone across the West, as in a way that benefits everyone. The argument that I made to Heather McDonald today, and she did not gainsay that position. Totally a position, a people that you think of Heather McDonald. What is it? The Manhattan Institute she's a fellow of, the prestige that she has, the global respect that she has. She was just invited to events in Germany by political parties. You think about all the prestige, and she can hear me talk, and she doesn't say, absolutely not, this is the most repulsive thing I've ever heard in my life. Would any of the other approaches, vehicles, get that sort of attention? Shit, no. They can't even go to ill-bred, backwoods, unerudite people in Arkansas and get them to say that they're racists, that whites should have their own towns. The internet is full of so many, and the white sympathetic sphere is full of so many vegetables and people who are not actually interested in the white race that it boggles the mind. But here we are, nonetheless, the special warfare changing the world. So do you want to use the concepts that create a people out of a deracinated race, the white race, so that we can come together for things as serious as being butchered in a subway car and as frivolous as not receiving enough awards in acting, in music? What would you rather have? Do you want to just look on and complain that Jewish people can do this? You look pathetic when you do that, by the way. You have always looked pathetic to me. Just like in sports, you see people who don't last long in sports. They're going to wash out. They're never going to be the victor. They're never going to walk away with the biggest trophy. Or the losers that sit around complaining and making excuses. And I've always been able to see them. I was a star athlete, not just because of the genetics of my glorious Grecian body, Grecian statue body, not just because of that, but because of the attitude that said, how did I screw up? What am I doing wrong? What can I do better? What does the winners out there, what are they doing that enables them to succeed? How can I emulate that? That's what we've done here. So I want you to think about, in the overall context of this gathering, this Wednesday gathering, the news that we're covering here. Because where's the white race? Where is the focus? Where are all the conversations taking place? This is clearly an anti-white terrorist. Clearly, in my opinion. Why aren't all of the white population, or a significant percentage of us, talking about this being anti-white? Excuse me. Why aren't we coming together with a focus on our well-being? Why are so many of us having this dispersed and disparate recourse to all of the avenues, prescriptions for success that have failed in the past? Well, if you just get your child to really focus on education, I'm telling you then, they're going to end up being a good person. Well, you couldn't focus more on education than both of these, Robinson and Twiggs. Especially Robinson, top 1% of ACT scores in the country. This kid was a great student. Well, if you just have two parents. Well, if the father is just a good guy, father's a great guy. Well, if the mother's just a good woman, she's a great woman. Well, if they just get them out in nature and they take them to the gun range and take them hunting, they did that. Well, if they just go to church every Sunday and Wednesday and they pray before their meals, they did that. Well, if they just have conservative values, And they talk about the founding fathers and they bring the conservatism into the family environment. They did that. You can run down the list of all of the prescriptions that now our developing friend Benny Johnson might tell you that you need to have recourse to correct this disease in the West, that Shapiro will certainly direct you toward. And in addition to that, he'll say subservience and ever dying faithfulness to the state of Israel. You can even do that. Doesn't stop the kid from becoming a radical white race hating. And that means hating all of the norms of the white race. Norms like male-female relationship, male-female identity, etc. You can still become, because anti-whiteism is designed to destroy Western kind and our norms. And that is a consequence of the gravity, not because there was a original thinker for all of the midwit tards out there. Everybody traveling around in a TARDIS. It's because if everyone who becomes anti-white, born out of jealousy and envy, we talk about this, are contemplating and implementing strategies to victimize white people, the ones that work, the gravity, will be picked up by others. And it becomes something far bigger than any person or group of people could ever think up. Because it's born out of the crucible of the laboratory where the actual harm is taking place. It's amazing that I can share this tier of genius, and there are so few that can get it. So here you have the Jews, a percentage of their overall population, complaining vehemently that there aren't enough Jews getting awards. So therefore, it is anti-Jew. It's not just the Emmys are being unfair. Like, this is another thing I'll point out before we move away from this story, is that in Jewish circles, unlike white circles, you're not going to have Jewish people stand up, or it's going to be so rare we can say this is the case. They're going to stand up and say, no, it's not anti-Semitic. It's just that their insert abstraction. What they gauge as now stellar performances has shifted over time away from some of our norm or Jewish norms to some more broader norms of Afro-Caribbean lesbianism. No Jew is going to do that. But as I said that white people would. Some doughy ass guy with man tits would show up and say, oh, no, it's not anti-whiteism, but how does it have to do anything with race? Well, how does it have, Barbara? Do you know what they mean when they say it's racial? They're just handing out awards at a movie festival. I don't understand a damn thing. No shit, you don't understand. Because you're on so many drugs and you've been on you probably started hardcore snorting Ritalin, and now you're this doughy mess of pharmaceuticals. When they bury you, they're going to have to put a toxic label on it. And now you don't know that. How does it have anything to do with race? Jews are not going to do that. Blacks won't do that. For as many people in the white sympathetic sphere who think that white people are superior to blacks, let me tell you how inferior. Let me tell you how inferior your behavior actually is. Because if blacks got up there and they said, well, the Emmys here are racist, and now because of our work, they say anti-black as well. Thank you. I should do a speech here at the Emmys, like impromptu speech here. Extemporize what my speech would be at the Emmys, because I got that one right too. When I told all those guys, I got that right. I told them I could get them to use our verbiage. I could get them to say anti-black. I could get them to say anti-Jew. And by God, we did. So no blacks would come forward and say, no, it has nothing to do with our race. We need a people. That's the only way we're going to arrest our victimization. All of the complaining in the world isn't going to do it.